sure that I am better than I was yesterday in the course. So if today you do 1 bit of this course and then you tell yourself, okay, for this amount of amount, tomorrow I'll go around. So basically, it's being consistent in the little things that you do.
I think it's possible to stay for long hours looking at the book. But when you stand up and you are asked what do you do, you cannot even explain.
That's true.
So even as you sit down, I think to be more productive, you should spell out what you want to do and what you want to achieve at the end of that reading schedule. And then you can put out distractions. Like for me, for some days, even that I uninstalled it and unfreeze it today, you can freeze some apps off your. If you want to use data, just freeze some apps so that you don't have incoming messages. And then one message pops onto and see.
We should read before classes. And most importantly, I see this among students, they're not interested in what they're reading. Most people feel forced to read or
Read to pass.
Read to pass because there's a test or exam. So I genuinely try to find interest in whatever it is that I'm reading. So if I'm interested in it, find passion in it, then I'm more motivated or more likely to understand and retain that information. That I'm
Yes, we know that there is the art talent place.
Yes.
But it's also said hard work beats talent when talent doesn't.
Hi scholars, hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. As usual, it's your girl Inamu Favor, and trust me, we're back to another episode, to the second episode of Unveiling Academic Excellence. That one show where grade meets grit, where strategy meets story. And on today's episode, I'm here with another set of exceptional students in my school who would be holding our hands to journey us through their story of excellence, how they did it and how we can as well do it. I want you to know success is not magic, it's method. If you know how to do it, then you can also get their result. And that's what they are here to share with us, undiluted, how they do it, and then you can catch a glimpse of how you too can do it. So you see, while your baby girl is out here dishing you values, make sure you are actively engaging. Engage in the comment section, share the parts that strike you the most, like and subscribe to this channel so that we can be encouraged to keep giving you premium values. And right away, we're going to be heading into what brought us here.
Please, what's your name, one fun thing about you, and your CGPA currently?
Okay, my name is Musa Hawasado.
Okay.
One fun thing about me is that I love to read novels,
Wow.
especially thrillers. My current CGPA 4.62, I think.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Anosuke Martins, Udechku, and my CGPA is currently 4.81.
Wow.
Yeah.
Odogo master.
I think I'm actually a joke starter. I'm a fun person, but most people think I'm not.
Subachidera Smith, and my CGPA is 4.53. One fun thing about me, I've been told that I'm a vibe. So wherever I enter, is always a vibe.
With all the book.
With all the book, it
You're
has to
still a
be.
vibe.
It has to be.
All right.
Hello, my name is Joseph Jane, and well, one fun thing about me is that I talk, but most people don't know that I talk. They think I'm very quiet. Okay, my CGPA is 4.65.
My name is Uzoevo Edmichku.
Okay.
And my CGPA is 4.85. Yes. And one fun thing about me,
Yeah.
I would say I'm someone who's very approachable.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, I can relate to that.
relate to.
Were you always this good academically? And if not, can you share your transition story with us briefly? How it changed and what made the shift basically?
Okay, but I won't say I was always this good because I remember my primary school. I used to take like position 17th out of I don't
It's
know
a
a
lie.
class of how
It's a
many.
lie.
I was serious, and then I had that neighbor that was always this kid don't know anything. Yeah, so well, I would say in primary five. Okay, we used to have math test every Friday in my school. So they will now call people that score the highest and clap for them on Monday assembly ground.
Wow.
So that Friday, the math teacher said he's going to call those that score zero on the assembly. So they'll be shamed. Normally, I don't score zero, but that day, as he say, he'll call those that score zero. That's the day my village people followed me.
Oh, wow.
So on Monday, I was in the assembly and they started calling. They called my name. They called like first two. They were not in school yet. So I was the first person to come out.
Yay.
I was so embarrassed. Well, the good thing was that he gave makeup test.
Okay.
And then surprisingly, I don't even know how, and I got 13 over 20. And 13 over 20 was the highest score. Yeah, so I think from that point, especially in maths, and then just generally, my performance changed. It shifted from being that 17th over something.
So the shame did the magic.
I don't know.
The shame did the magic because for them come from behind. That is first from behind, and then for public to see. I want to believe that's what did the shift, right? Thank you for sharing.
I won't say I was always this good. I would say I was always challenged to do my best
Better. Okay.
because both my parents were educators.
Oh,
My father is a lecturer, and my late mom was also a teacher.
sorry about that. I'm just hearing your mom is
Sorry.
late.
So they both made sure that I wasn't lacking behind academically. So assignments I was really doing with my mom. So you know the Nigerian setting, you're doing assignment with your mother. It's a do or die.
Oh my
You
god.
don't have an option. You have to get it right.
Yeah.
And then you have bloody nose at the end of the day. So I've always had that fear of, or I've always been motivated to always do my best. So it turns out that if you actually put your mind to it,
Yes.
you can actually do it. And then if you have people in your corner who are always supporting you, motivating you, telling you that it's not something that some people are supposed to be doing, it's something that everybody can do.
Yes.
So that's for me with my parents' help and grace from God. That's why I am
That's how your
That's where
transition
my
came. So
transition came.
I want to believe that your formative years did the work for you. You weren't that much of a bad student, but then at each stage you kept transiting. Wow.
Exactly.
Thank you for sharing.
About being an excellent student, I wasn't at the top of the academic the tier. I was above average actually.
Okay,
And
okay.
then I think the change came when I was in SS2,
Wow.
SS3. Yeah, when I was like transitioning from SS2 to SS3
Wow.
and preparing for work and stuff. Then my cousin, she felt I could be more actually. I was very
Wow.
playful,
Oh.
but even with the play, I was still
Yeah, so
doing
imagine if you were more
yeah.
serious,
So
right?
she was like, if I could actually put in more effort, that I could become more and I could do more.
Mm.
And I actually took the advice and I became more serious towards my education, studying and all that. And well, I saw the impact. My WAEC, I had about 6 days, and
Wow.
yeah, and then I had about my job. This course not.
No, I wasn't always this good. Yes, like throughout my secondary school days, I'll say below average.
Wow.
Yes, that's the word, below average. But at some point after I had left secondary school, that's while I was preparing for my third jam.
Wow.
Yes, third jam examination.
Sakemi has 3 jams.
Okay, so while I was preparing for that jam, I believe that was the point of transition where there was a sudden change, and all of a sudden, when I say I picked interest, I received the grace to the grace for academic excellence. I think that's much
Wow.
because before I was just
Like, how did it happen?
okay. So I'll say it was in part all of a sudden, and in another part it wasn't all of a sudden. So first of all, like say there was an empowerment. I received a special grace that was able to help me to change my mindset about the whole academics thing. And then I started putting in effort to study and all that. But then on the other part, like, it wasn't like all of a sudden there was a transformation process, like where I was actually learning the fundamentals of the background of the whole
I think you
academia
shared
and
with me a
stuff.
time like your tutor.
Yes, yes.
Can we have that time?
Okay, so there was this lesson I attended while I was preparing for that jam examination, and there was a tutor there who I say is a mentor of mine. Yes, then he was also a first class student with a similar CGPA 4.85, and then he kind of like showed me the basics or the way to go around this whole academia stuff. So he taught me, okay, this is how you should read, this is how you should study daily, and so on and so forth. And taught me the whole idea of what's meant to have like to be an institution.
Wow.
The thing is, I've always been this good.
Really?
I've always been this good, at least for as long as I've known.
Okay.
There are always pictures of me collecting the prize right from nursery school to secondary school. I was the best graduating student in my secondary school, and then
Wow.
now I'm in
And
the
here we are.
just
All right, so it's been from one level of excellence, like you kept growing, basically.
yes.
Okay, that's nice. There's a saying that academic excellence isn't accidental. We would want to know what are some non-negotiable habits or daily routines you adopt right from day one of the semester to position yourself for success.
Well, my strategy is that I always come to class.
Okay.
I always come to class. I never miss a class.
Wow.
I try my best to never miss a class, and I always sit in the front because as long as I can hear what the lecturer is saying and they've explained, even if I don't read, I'll still have a knowledge of what's
I think
going
you're an
on.
auditory learner then.
Yes, I like to hear and write, and that's the way I also read.
Okay.
So I know I also read novels, so like I'm able to consume like a lot of information in a short period of time.
Okay.
But for reading, you have to recall. Novels, I don't have to
Yes,
recall. So
yes,
the
yes.
consuming for novels is different. So
Yes.
I have to change the way I read when I came to the university.
Okay.
In secondary school, I just used to read. But when I came here, I had to read. I had to start to write.
Okay.
So whatever I read, I write them down,
Okay.
and that makes me to like recall it easier.
Okay.
So those are my strategies, and I make sure that whatever handout is given, I have to rewrite them again. It's like I'm recopying the handouts, but something's changed because I write it in the way that I understand.
Oh my.
So it's very slow, it's very tiring, but you recall most of what you have read.
Okay, so for me, excellence, like you said, it's not accidental.
Yeah.
So I don't just start the semester when the semester starts. I'm actually reading during the break.
Wow. Wow.
That's one thing I do. I actually
my
read during the
God.
break so
Oh
that
my
once
God.
the semester starts, I already know what I'm starting with. I already know the course outlines and probably even how past questions have been sent.
Yeah.
So my daily routine somehow revolves around every day I make sure that I am better than I was yesterday in a course. So if today you do one bit of this course and then you tell yourself, okay, for this I'm okay for now. Tomorrow I'll do another one. So basically it's being consistent in the little things that you do. Make sure you read before classes. And most importantly, I see this among students, they're not interested in what they're reading. Most people feel forced to read or maybe
Read to pass.
read to pass because there's a test or exam. So I genuinely try to find interest in whatever it is that I'm reading. So if I'm interested in it, I find passion in it, then I'm more motivated or I'm more likely to understand and retain that information that I'm studying.
Okay, so I try to be more productive. So I stay back after school because I know when I go back to the hostel, I don't have so much time. So maximizing my day also helps me to keep up. And then I understand that, okay, I'm not the kind of person that likes staying in my comfort zone to do something.
Okay.
So most times I tend to leave my room, go somewhere else, and then you can spend hours there and read. You are moving.
Yeah.
Like, let me just give an example. Yesterday, I know that if I stayed in my room, I would have slept because I was very tired. So I left my room, went to someone else's room where I don't have a bed to sleep. I only have a chair to sit on.
Yeah.
And that's how I sat down there and then read. When early hours of the morning left, went back to my room.
Wow.
So working hard is very important, and that's one thing I try as much as possible to do and to be more productive in my time. I think my ultimate strategy.
Okay.
Sometimes you cannot explain, but I just believe that it's God. First of all, that's the ultimate strategy.
Okay.
I don't know if I can share this testimony.
Okay,
All
please
right.
feel free. We want
So,
something relatable, actually.
okay. So I'll say, okay, there are times that when I'm reading, I'll ask God to direct me to where He wants me to read. Like this test, where should I read?
Yeah.
And then literally, I feel impressed on my heart to focus on some areas. And when I focus on those areas, I see that they are part of the questions that come out. So trusting God for direction is one very key thing. And then also praying before you read. It's God that gives understanding. Sometimes people read, and you see that their own success is not up to what you're achieving. That's because
Yeah.
God is in the story. I think last semester, there's something we call praise night in my fellowship.
Okay.
So we'll just go a night to exam day. You go and sing, dance, praise God, and pray. So, and while I was there, I was just, as we were dancing, I was praying in my heart. I say, Father, I want to come back next semester praise night and testify. If you give me these grades, and I listed the grades I wanted, I said I will testify. And when I left that place, I left with the thought that I don't need to fight. I don't need to lift anything. God will fight for me. And let me tell you, I'm going to testify that next praise night because exactly what I was praying for in my heart was what
You
happened,
got.
was the grades I got.
Yes.
So thank God.
So
God is.
it means that even with the hard work, you make sure that you're not doubting the hard work that you're doing. You're doing the work, but then you're also trusting God to crown your
Yes.
efforts with success.
Very
Because
important thing.
I've had instances where even when you read something, you go to the hall, you go blank.
Yes.
At times, you it's like you are. I don't know. There's something that I was telling somebody, and I said that there are times it feels like you are using hoe to till a ground, and then another person is using tractor. So
Yeah.
it's not like that person's effort is greased and the person has speed, but you that is just hard work. It's not like you're tilling a ground that there is no grease added to it. But then when grace comes, it greases your effort. Oh my God,
Exactly.
rhymes, grace,
See, there's
grease. And so it greases your effort. And I'm so excited that you have something deeper than you to serve as your anchor, even while
Yes.
you are being hardworking.
As you work at, there's just a different level of success when you trust God to do it for you. So I think that's just majorly it.
Thank you for sharing.
Okay, from day one of the semester, I try my best to, start early. As I would say, I usually advise people start early.
Yeah.
So yeah, as the lecturers are coming in, as they are taking their lectures, you could read and just closely follow them behind, and then you don't have to wait till everybody's done, and then they're about to give you a test or they're about to give you, to examine you. Then that's when you go to start reading. So start early. I usually start early,
Okay.
and then as much as possible. I don't really like reading like for a very long period of time.
Okay.
So I do summarize. I try to summarize. I just go through. I summarize whatsoever the person has taught.
Yes.
After the summary, then I just have like my short notes. So I don't really need to go back to those
The
bulky
slide,
handouts and
yeah.
slide to read. So once it's test period, I already have like my go-to source. So I usually take like in less than like if you have like going through the slides, it will take more time.
Yes.
But now I've already jotted down important points that I need.
Yes,
Yeah,
on
so
the slide.
exactly. So with that, I'm prepared. So yeah, those are the things
Basically
I
how
do.
you position from the
Yeah.
beginning of the semester. So like you start early from day one, you're already following as the lecturer is lecturing, you're following and all of that. Okay, that's a nice one.
Okay. So as you said, it's isn't accidental.
Yeah.
There is like a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah.
And yes, we know that there is the part talent plays.
Yes.
But it's also said hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So even though you may not have like in quotes a talent for it, there's still place for hard work. You can still achieve a similar goal. So yes, I was always putting in we have always been putting in daily effort. Like I start studying from day one, like literally from day one.
Wow.
First day of the semester, and I start studying as though we are already at the middle or towards the end of the semester. So like
Wow.
that pressure that comes in when we have like lots of tests and all of that, I try to like simulate that consciousness from the start of the semester. So it's almost like okay, I'm having all this thing. So I start putting in a similar effort. I don't wait and say okay, we're just starting things are normal, so let me take it easy. I just try to maintain a consistent, high-paced level of academic activity. So yes, I try to study from the beginning of the semester, study consistently daily. Then will I say I also utilize my weekends and night times. Let me start with the weekends. Like every Saturday, I have dedicated it for my studies. Like so, to me, Saturday is one of the most important days when it comes to my
to cover up.
yes, semester. So I will study during the week, but then when it comes to Saturday, I try to avoid every other activity and stay logged in for my studies on every Saturday and Sundays too.
Okay.
That's
Can you walk us through what your study routine looks like before, during, and after study sessions? Like, how do you make it effective, not just long?
So, in order to make studying more effective, because there's a way you can be studying, but you're not studying. You're just
Yes.
sitting down there and spending hours.
Yes.
The rate of assimilation is not that high. So what
Yes.
I try to do is that first of all, I try to cut my study into sessions.
Okay.
So I'm not studying for like 5-6 hours at a go.
Okay.
I break it into sessions of like 50 minutes.
Okay.
So I study for 50 minutes, then I take a 10 minute break.
Wow.
So now with this 10 minutes break, it gives me an opportunity to like rejuvenate myself, to come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not like I maintain that tiredness and keep struggling to study. But then when I take this break and I come back, I feel more like refreshed and it's like I'm starting again. So I'm able to keep going. And then I do it for however long I want to do it. But the whole idea is that I'm not going at a stretch. Right? So I'm
Okay.
taking breaks in between to help me stay effective. Also, there's also the role of getting distracted
Okay.
while studying. So you may be studying and then a thought pops into your head,
Yeah.
or maybe a notification on your phone or something.
Yeah.
So in order to help minimize this, what I do when thoughts come into my head, I just write them on a piece of paper.
Okay.
I say, okay, I'll do this later. So I don't like distract myself and start thinking
Yeah.
at that moment. And also so I don't forget. So I just write it and I know when I'm maybe in my break time or something, I'll go by it. Then also I try to turn off like my notifications on my phone. Like WhatsApp, I don't do WhatsApp notifications and several other notifications. Or I just put my phone on focus mode. So
Yeah.
I'm not getting any notification and stuff like that. So it helps me to stay focused while I'm studying.
Okay. How does assimilation work for you?
How does it work?
Like ensuring you remember what you read
Okay,
and you can
okay,
put
okay,
it down. Like that
okay.
effective studying.
Effective studying. Okay, so first of all, while I study, I make sure I understand. Like, I leave no stone unturned when it comes to understanding. So
Okay.
first of all, I try to grab every concept, and then I make notes while I study. Now, there's a role of making notes when it comes to assimilation. When you try to think actively about something and write it down, it's kind of like, let's say, sticks more because you didn't just passively read it. You thought about it and then you wrote it out from your head. It helps it to stick. Still, it doesn't mean that you remember everything. In fact,
Yeah.
as the time progresses, you forget like more than 50% of what you read. That's where active recall and
Okay.
repetition comes in.
Yeah.
So you need to like be what I do. I try to have sessions where I just revise, but not just passively, but actively, such that I'm trying to remember what I have read before I check it out. So I don't just come and I'm like, okay, I'm rereading what I already read. But first of all, I ask myself, okay, what is this? Then I try to remember it. When I don't remember everything, then I check. That way it sticks better because now I've not just read it again, but I've thought about it
Yeah.
in my consciousness again.
Like some persons just literally, I see people make summary notes and all of those things, and then somebody's just copying down. Some persons even just literally copy down what is in the slide back into their notes. Like, what do you think about that?
Well,
Because I hear you say you write down
yes,
and all of that. So, like, how do you make that effective and not just a note copying session?
Okay, so first of all, I am not writing word for word in the sense what's in the material.
Okay.
I'm trying to put it in my own words where I can, and also I'm also getting the information I get from other sources like ChatGPT,
Okay.
websites. I try to inculcate them. So my notes kind of like it's let's say it's tailored for me based on what I have
Yeah.
gotten online and all that. So whenever I read my notes, I let's say I have that understanding that I had when I initially read that particular topic. So I may see the lecture notes, but I don't understand what exactly it's saying. But because I have like studied it and written it out in my own words, in my own understanding, if I read that's my jotting, there's no way I won't understand it because I wrote down what I understood, not what was in the notes.
Yeah.
Although there are persons that may okay, they only just to literally write what was in the
Slide.
and write that again. If it works for them, fine. I know there are persons that do it.
Yeah.
They feel like for them, they are seeing it in their own handwriting. It's better for them to write it to remember.
Yeah.
So if it works for you, it's fine.
All right.
Okay, so what I do before, I usually don't eat before I go to. I use the hunger as a motivation. That's why, and I have also like I literally put myself through stress. I use that as a motivation. I tell myself, okay, and I have a timetable. Before I didn't used to have timetables, but when I started to create timetables, it started to work. I give myself a time limit.
Yeah. Targets.
Maybe if I wake up by 7 o'clock, maybe during exam time like that. So I wake up during 7. I give my time, okay, 7 to 10, read this person's part. Then we take a break for an hour. Then 11 to 12, read this part. Then by 1, we go back to the hostel. So the motivation of I'm going to go and eat and rest by 1 o'clock fuels me to read my book so that I'm able to reach my target before I come back. After I eat, I sleep. Then in the evening, maybe around 5, I go again. If it's an intensive course like pharmacology, I stay till like around 11, 12, making sure that I go through every part. Like there's time for all of them.
Yeah. So, like, how does assimilation work for you that you don't get to forget or something?
Okay, normally I know that I have a good memory, and so assimilate. I think if I read it in once, I think I can get the general gist of it. Like I will understand, I can explain it to another person once I've done it once. But if I've done it multiple times, like reading it will start to annoy me because my brain said we already do this, so there's no need. So 2 or 3 times is the limit. If I do 5, 6,
Yeah, do too much.
I'm doing too much. I'm doing too much. My brain is like, you're doing too much. Just leave it. I'll start to get annoyed and to start to like delete some of the things that I already know.
Okay.
So
So,
two or three
are there
times.
some strategies you put to your reading? Probably like some materials you get to consult that make reading easier for you or something.
Oh yes, I have some textbooks
Okay.
that I go through like just randomly, or if I see a topic that like sparks interest, I go and read on it, or I go to Google and go like down a rabbit hole, just reading like for fun and all of that. So it also helps. And then I follow some groups on social media
Okay.
that are about science, and sometimes I don't even know that those things have stuck until somebody asks me a question. I'm like, oh, I know this, and they say, why do you know this? I'm like, oh, I saw it somewhere, and then so those are the things that help. I also read things outside of pharmacies. I don't know why, but they do help sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's good that you're versatile so that
Yeah.
you won't just finish from here and all you know is pharmacy.
Pharmacy.
Like, all right.
Okay, so most times when I plan to read, I have maybe a course in mind to read. So when I go to read, I try to write out the outline first of all for the course so that I can know the scope of what I'm dealing with. And then when you focus on only the material that a lecturer gives you, you are very limited to what you read. So I try as much as possible to use textbooks.
With the small time we have,
Wow. So that's why you need to maximize the small one. Be productive. If you want to scroll, you are scrolling 2 hours have passed, you have not read anything.
And that's true.
And then later I was like, we don't have time.
Yeah.
But we actually have time. It's just that we're not making what should be a priority.
Yeah.
And so I try to make use of textbooks because the teacher will not write everything in the slide. And there are questions that may not even be in your slide.
Yes.
But because you have read wide, you have a good knowledge of it. And also using textbooks help you to have a good grasp, not just to cram what the lecturer gave in the slide, but to have a good understanding so that if they ask you tomorrow, you are able to explain what you read.
Yes.
So use textbooks. ChatGPT is a very great help. So that's the thing now. So use textbooks. Anything you don't understand, ask ChatGPT. In fact, like if I'm reading a slide, I can use a very long time to read like 5 pages of slide. And you think like, what's this guy doing since reading 5 pages? So like each and every page, anything I don't understand, textbook, ChatGPT, Google, YouTube. I think we have a lot of resources that we need right now at our fingertips to help us.
In our
But most
generation,
times,
right?
yes, most times I don't know if I should say we're not willing to just sit down and take our time to read as we're expected to read. God grants understanding, but we should take our time. That's
He that diligently does his work, right?
See that man diligent in his business.
Yes.
So just be diligent in your reading and then read as often as possible.
Yeah.
As often as you have time. Read wide. And then I try to also make use of past questions because it also gives me a clue on how questions are set. You are reading to know, we're also reading to pass. So it's very important you have that understanding. I think that's majorly it. And then
what does your recall look like? Because I feel like if you're reading and you can't remember, you're in deep shit, man.